get rid of it. So they called us up, we came on in, and you know, we're looking around, and I'm like, We go upstairs, we go downstairs, and they're doing the thing with their equipment, and there's a reason why I didn't speak about a lot about the equipment, because I know nothing. This is me.
Okay.
But anyway, we're there at Sunbury, and we're all listening to the different types of things, and I'm sitting there in the living room, and I'm watching the spirit going back and forth. It's not a demon. It's a 15-year-old boy. And what's the difference between a 15-year-old boy and a demon?
Nothing.
Nothing, exactly. So, anyway, this 15-year-old boy he had been in a car accident, and he was unfortunately killed in the car accident. And this was back in about the 1960s, and this kid was pissed off because they did not bury him in the clothes that he wanted to be buried in. He wanted to be buried in his jeans and a flannel shirt, and they buried him in his suit. What 15-year-old boy here likes to wear a tuxedo?
Nobody.
Nobody, exactly. So this kid was rather angry at all of this. And I'm like, dude, you're scaring the kid. And he's, well, I'm bored. Okay, stop scaring the kid. So anyway, so we worked out a deal, and one of the things that I do is that I kind of do a little bit of collecting of wayward spirits until they are ready to pass on. So he kind of came home with me. Now he occupies my porch, sitting there and smoking light and pretending to be James Dean. But he's a nice kid, otherwise, except for being 15. Anyway, but that's one of the grand stories of some of the things that I've done. But another thing that has happened a lot lately. Okay, I'm going to go all sixth sense on everybody here. Who here has seen dead people? Come on. Y'all know that you've seen something out of the corners of your eyes.
Really.
Every once in a while. You are among people that see things all the time, some of us more than others. A lot of people seem to be waking up and being able to see things that they've never seen before. That's another way that I kind of can come in and I can help. Me and some of my associates. If some people don't know how to handle seeing people that are dead. I mean, I had one friend that was driving past a funeral, and all of a sudden there's a guy in the back of her car going, "Tell them I'm not dead." And she's like, "Dude, you're dead. Go to your funeral." But anyway, so another instance that we had back over in Pottsville was a girl who was seeing things, and the only safe place that she had was her bedroom. That was the only place where the dead would not enter. And we helped with her with setting up what we call sacred space. If you have, again, this all comes back down to the candles. If you have members of your family, friends of yours, loved ones that have passed on, they love to have a little bit of sacred space. It's what I basically call it is sacred space. A lot of times you have maybe a curio cabinet or a mantle or a table or something that you can set. For me, it would be a 7-day candle. They sell them over at Burgers, $2.59 a candle. They last for about 7 days. They're good candles. Anyway, you can find them over these 7-day candles. We take one of those, and you take a glass of water, a clear glass filled with clear, cold water. You put them beside one another. The water is for clarity. It's to clear the way, and it's to cool. The light itself is for warmth. It's for light, because that is the way to light the way to get to the other side of the river. You take these two things, you put them there. You take pictures of these people who have passed, religious medals, religious objects. If you have something of theirs, put it there. And have this little bit of sacred space, and just say out loud, say to these spirits that are around you, say, "Hey, this is for you. This is your space." Say a prayer. If you're Catholic, say an Our Father. If you're Jewish, say the Shema or the Kaddish. Or whatever comes to your mind as a little bit of sacredcy that can enter into your life in that moment. We all need a little bit of silence every once in a while. We all need a little bit of stillness. And the best time, in my opinion, is when I'm communing with those I know who loved me the most. And those are my ancestors. Again, I don't know all of their names, but they know who I am, because I am the sum of them. Let's see, what else? What else have I written down in my little thing here? How many people here remember about 3 years ago, I think it was, where there was a rash of vandalism over at Baber Cemetery over in Pottsville? Yeah, that was a shame. 12-year-old kids. Yes, it was nasty. It was horrible. There was a bunch of kids that really had nothing to do during the summertime, but that's a totally different conversation and presentation. Fortunately, and I had one of my students, I used to, if any of you might remember my face, I used to do co-teaching down at high school with the emotional support team. And one of my kids that's there, I don't know if any lives up in Donaldson, but anyway, he was one of the kids that was on the maintenance team when the cemeteries were vandalized, and he was one of the ones that helped pull those gravestones back up, and I was so proud. Anyway, but cemetery care. If you know where your loved ones are buried, go to them and clean off the grass clippings and the leaves and things like that, and then do 3 graves around that person, because you have no idea whether or not the people around them are ever remembered. And in a sense, that can be a contribution to those people that have been forgotten, that would be manifesting and bothering people and trying to take the eyes of 3-year-olds instead of resting in peace. Another interesting phenomenon. Do we have the picture of the grandmother? Okay, that's a good list. Oh, you really can't see that up there. Ooh. Oh, yeah, you can. You can kind of see. It's a little distorted up here, but this is a phone call that we got. Well, actually, it was an email, and then which turned into a phone call that I did. A couple of people sent us this picture, and they said, "What do we do?" And if you really look closely, there's the great-granddaughter. That's the great-grandmother. She's 96 years old, God bless her. And if you can see right above her head, does anybody see the face? Because I'll tell you what, it is really, really clear when it's in a regular picture. There's a picture of, I can stand here, right there. You can see hair, an eye line. There's 2 of them. Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. I see that. Yes. Wow, I've never seen that. That's very good. Very good. Yeah, she's like facing kind of in the opposite direction. Yay! Get her a membership. But anyway, pardon?
I hope you want me doing that.
Girlfriend, we gotta talk. Let's do coffee sometime. Anyway, but what I spoke to this family about regarding the great grandmother was that when people who are older, when people, you can see that picture anytime. When people who are older, when they begin to enter into twilight years, and this is not commenting on any I'm not doing age discrimination here, but it's true. But as people begin to enter into twilight, that your ancestors, the people who love you the most, the people who know you even when you don't know them, start to gather around you. Has anybody here ever had a loved one that has been on, that you've been watching, who all of a sudden starts talking to people that you can't see? And that's, yes. And when that happens, they're usually talking to people who have passed over, who are beginning to gather around. Because what happens though is our ancestors gather, and they're there to ease that transition. They're there to remind people, hey, we're here, and you're not alone, which is what this whole presentation is based on. You are not alone. Even when you feel like you are alone, you are never alone, because the people that love you the most are always around you. And so we spoke to them, and they felt much better after speaking to us, and didn't need an investigation, I feel as though I've done, I mean, it's wonderful to go into an investigation and tell people what's there and help them out like that. I feel even better when I can have other people actually solve their own problems, so to speak, by just telling them, look, all you need to do is this, all you need to do is to set up sacred space, all you need to do is to welcome these people into your lives, so they feel as though you know they are there. Even if, again, you don't know their names, you know that they are there, they know that you are there. They are proud of who you are. Be proud of where you come from. And I can't say that it'll solve every single problem, but it will solve a lot of the manifestations that come through. Does anybody have any questions of me? Yes?
Can a younger child see spirit before an older person?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Younger people have not been told yet that things are not real. Anybody who here has heard? Yes.
What she just asked, my grandson visited his grandmother's grave with his mom, and my daughter said to him about this is grandmother's grave, and he did a raspberry. And she said, why did you do that? I said, that's what my nanny's doing.
Very good. Little small children, and
3 years.
little people, 3 years old. God bless. See, small children. I don't know who here has ever not heard of Peter Pan, but in the J.M. Barrie story of Peter Pan, they talk about how childhood is more of a time of forgetting than it is of learning. When we are 3, 2, 4, I mean, in that time period, before we really begin to realize that things aren't real, we see things and we go, okay, yeah, that's that. Nanny's blowing raspberries at me, or a dog just crossed by. Just these types of things. And children, especially little children, as I said, they haven't learned yet that this stuff is not real. We as adults, they're open.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're very open, and they haven't been told. When we as adults begin to tell them again and again and again, that's not real. That's only the wind. That's only your imagination. That's when their minds begin to close, and that's when they believe. Basically, they believe what you tell them, and therefore the magic begins to go away. As sad as that might sound, but that is exactly what basically happens. Any other questions?
I do have a question. When I was a little girl,
Mhm.
up top, I don't know how old, when I shut my eyes, I still do it today, but it doesn't come as often. I don't know why. Just people appear in front of my eyes. I don't know them, but they're always people I don't know, but I see faces of people I don't know. They're vivid. They're vivid.
As I said before, you may not know who they are. They may be your ancestors from 6, 7 generations back.
A couple of weeks ago, I shut my eyes to go, and I was just ready to go to sleep, and I saw this real old woman. What was she dangling with earrings and all this? And behind her was the most gorgeous sunset I ever saw. And I thought, I wonder who that was. I hope they come
But
by.
again, it was somebody. It's these people. But as I said,
But
these
it
people know
happened just like that, and
you.
I keep seeing it so vivid.
These people know you. And just if anything, if she makes it, give her some sacred space. Give her some space.
Because it is weird.
Remember
It's
who
so
she
real.
is. Draw a picture
I
of
always
her.
saw people, young people, and I know, who are they? I don't know these people. Why isn't it somebody I know? It was always somebody I didn't know.
As I said, because it's part of my personal history. I'm adopted. I don't know blood family. I know my family, but I don't know. Besides knowing that I'm Irish, I don't know anything more than that. So I see tons of people I don't know. So, but I realize, they're part of me, and I am part of them. So they look at me and go, yeah, you're doing good, girl. keep going. So, and again, I just, you set up sacred space, just because sacred space is sacred space, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to, okay, make a list out of who is in your sacred space and who isn't. All of your ancestors are invited into your sacred space. Anything else? Sir.
Have you, this may be irrelevant to the immediate subject here, but have you ever heard of the rusty nail theory? This is whereas when the body finally dies, there's a surge of electricity through the brain expels this and it's absorbed by an inanimate object, meaning a rusty nail, a hasp, a hinge, anything, and it's stored there to be replayed later on.
I've never heard of that theory, but I would say that it's plausible. Because, I mean, knowing that, if somebody, for instance, was on their deathbed and they died in a room and that energy is expelled, we see different, I will see things replay a lot of times, almost like a recording.
Residual.
Which is, we call it a
Residual.
And what I'd like to add to that is a lot of this comes back when, say, a building is remodeled, reconditioned, redeveloped, and these old hasps, hinges, nails get turned over again. This is when it seems to expel itself, that energy comes out again. Again, I don't know if this is fallacy or...
It actually, that makes a very, very good point, because a lot of times when a house is remodeled, the activity picks up. And that would actually make very, very good sense that it would, I mean, it's a plausible theory.
You guys are the experts, that's why I'm asking.
No, nobody's an expert in all this, except for the ones that have already passed over. They're not talking that much.
Wait a minute, I never what you said.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, it's a plausible theory. It is a very, very plausible theory that the energy would imprint on something that's metal and stay there almost like a genie in a bottle until it's messed with in some way, shape, or form, and then that energy is expelled out. Huh.
It could be anything.
It could be. It could be.
Antiques.
But rusted metal would be iron.
Yeah, I
Rusted
know.
metal would be iron, and iron has that kind of capability too. So, yeah.
Doesn't have to be metal. It could be anything. Look at antiques. Tons of people buy an antique item. Actually, notice activity in there.
Yeah, really.
So it's not necessarily metal.
Sir.
It's anything.
Back to the point of sunbearing.
Yes.
What prevents him from returning to sunbearing? And also, can you help me pass over?
That is a very interesting question. Why does Kyle not return to Sunbury, and how do I help him cross over? How that happens more or less, I am, what I do, one of my spiritual paths is that I deal a lot with my sacred space is a sanctuary for those that have not been able to find their way yet. And I kind of act as a bit of a railway stop, so to speak. I have a constant candle burning and a constant glass of water, 24/7, that burns for all of those forgotten dead that need to have a place where they are remembered. They come with me, they gather, and they're able to stay in this space until they are ready. And if they're not ready, it doesn't matter. We kind of have a bit of a deal. You may have my space as a sanctuary. You may have my space to stay, but you don't cause any havoc in my house. And that's, no, we can't, no, you cannot force a spirit to cross, but you can give them what they can consider to be a safe spot, a sanctuary, until they are ready to cross. And that's part of what I do. Yes?
I had a experience. I refused to realize it for 14 years. I wouldn't listen to my family.
You're not alert.
And I had a guy come in. It was he's a Reiki master with Shaw,
Okay,
and he brought a minister in,
okay.
and he brought a medium in. And
Well, you have a full house.
actually,
Anyway,
there was 11 spirits in my house.
okay,
Now, before they even came to my house, it was where the person came up to me, somebody came up to me and told me they knew somebody that could help me. I
okay,
never even knew this person. They just started working with me 2 weeks.
okay.
And the person came up to me and told me this. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, give this person a call. And I called this person. So anyways, my son, to begin with, was in basement.
Uh-huh,
And I was teaching him how to do a fire. I had a big old coal stoker, like
okay,
self-feeding stoker.
uh-huh,
And I told him to go out and throw a shovel for him. And he screamed. I thought he got burnt. So I
okay,
ran down the cellar, and he told me he seen somebody standing right here. So anyways, that's when I called this person up.
okay,
So he goes, well, let me call you back. About 2 weeks passed, he called me back.
mhm,
It took them 3 tries to come to my house. for
okay,
one. And when they came to my house, the first thing they did was went down the basement. My wife was there, her mom was there,
uh-huh,
I was there. We didn't want none of the kids in the house.
now,
Now, when he came,
mhm,
they went down to the basement,
okay,
and the first thing he said was my son's name. And he stood exactly where my son seen the spirit. And I didn't know this guy from little.
Okay.
He didn't know. All he wanted to know was my address. So I don't know if he researched it or out or whatever.
mhm,
So anyways, but to make it short was, the way he explained it to me was, I'm sure all of yous are different, like you said, everybody's different, okay? There was a porthole in my attic.
okay,
Now, the way they explained it to me was,
mhm,
when you pass and the light, you follow the light, as you go towards that light, there's other spirits that want you to come to them.
uh-huh,
They're the people that have portholes. They're evil, whatever you want to call them, like you say, you know,
okay,
like you said before, like the cat scratch, whatever.
yeah,
Okay? Well, this
No,
was
but I can come home, I guess.
a demon, whatever you want to call it. I never seen it, whatever. But anyways, it had 11 trapped souls in my home. So they got
where?
most of them to pass. One stayed. Okay? But
Oh,
it was that bad when
yeah, I'll leave you.
actually they told me, like I said, when you go into the light, they'll grab you. That's where the porthole comes.
Okay, all
An
right.
evil spirit will take you in your porthole, and they'll do whatever, you know.
well,
But I see it with my,
it's,
I see it with my own eyes. For one, I was like in a concrete,
mhm,
and it was choking me. I couldn't breathe, nothing. And I never believed it for 14 years. And that was in my daughter's bedroom. And then when we went up in the attic, it was like if something was pushing us down. We couldn't hardly even get up in the attic. And then they had, the minister had this brass thing, you know, like the Catholic churches use.
yeah, it's sepulcher, there,
Right.
yeah.
I seen the smoke in the wall. I mean, with my own eyes. So, right, and there's still a cross in my attic on that, on where the porthole was.
Sounds like we need to talk privately
Now,
at some point.
well, now, for one, I'll give you the guy's
Uh-huh.
card, and you can call him personally. He will not come to my house no more. He will not come to our street no more, because it's that bad. My wife has pictures of things looking in our windows. I mean, you won't believe the
Oh,
the
try
stuff
me.
that goes on. I actually dug for a swimming pool in my home. I actually found tomahawks in my yard. So I had a historical society came and, you know, I couldn't believe it, you know, but I don't know if it was Indian burial ground there one time, whatever, but
One of the things
anyways.
that I know about this part of Schuylkill County is that we were hunting grounds up here. As far as I have researched, and as far as I have felt, is that this area here this was not a living area when it came to Lenape. As far as I know, I mean, the Historical Society could probably give you a lot more of a,
Well, if they knew they stayed up there, but they didn't know where. They didn't, you know, like.
I think that, you know, well, I know that you got that you are also here for help as well. So we'll talk. We will talk and we will see exactly what how we can help out.
I mean, for what, we were told not to talk to spirits, because, you know, you don't know what it is, you know, whatever, you know, so.
Well, I mean, it's one of the interesting things is that, you know, you don't, I mean, everybody's theory is
It's
both
different,
wrong and
exactly.
correct at the same time. When
Right.
it comes to, you know, the way that things pass over, the way that people, act, you know, the theories of what happens. Some people say that, you know, the Grim Reaper escorts you. Some people say that God escorts you. Some people say that Jesus escorts you. I mean, it's all different depending on who you are and what you believe in. And I don't discount any of it. So when you say that there are evil hands poking out of portholes in your attic, I'm not going to say that they're not there.
No, I'm just saying, this is the way they grab spirits. Like, say, like, if you're going towards the light, and something says to you, you know, hey, come with me, and you go with it, that's the chance you know.
It's I personally I can't. As I said, I can't. I kind of balance myself here between going, no, that's not what I know,
Right.
and it's not what I've seen, and I don't want to belittle anybody's theories on what is out there, because, as I said, the dead don't talk about that part. I personally would think that there would be a lot more people being tortured because they've been extending a hand than I have seen. There are plenty of tortured souls out there that have made it across, that if somebody were to extend a hand out and say to them, come with me, that they would be grasping the first hand that they could possibly reach out for. And I have personally experienced that not being the case. So, but as I said, I am not belittling nor am I discounting what you have experienced, but that's not something that I personally have experienced. It's what I've experienced.
No, I'm just telling you what I was told. But I know what I went through and what I seen. Oh, I know there's stuff out there. Oh, believe me.
Pardon?
Yeah, they closed the door. That's what the whole room was full of smoke. And when they closed them, every bit of smoke went right in the wall,
Just left a mess there. so-
right in front of me.
They didn't close it. If they're still singing, if they're still there, and you need help with an Indian shaman, you need an Indian ritual done there. Close that.
Interesting. I find that very, very interesting. We'll get together and we can discuss how we can help you out.
I mean, I went as far as knocking on neighbors' doors and asking them. I didn't personally ask them, you know, do you have spirits in your home or whatever.
Where
But
exactly?
I asked them, you know, do you have anything weird going on in your house? And through matching stories of what my kids see, what neighbors, people see, and what, you know, it's
Where exactly do you live?
on Peacock Street.
Yeah, I was a crisis counselor for 8 months. You know that we would go to your area probably about 3 to 4 times a weekend? For different things happening. Very interesting. But we will, we'll discuss further if you'd like us to take a look and see how we can personally help you. I would love to.
We have some business cards up here.
They're already.
Yeah, the wife was,
Yes. Darling?
Oh, this story's actually really funny. Every year for Memorial Day, we put flowers on our loved one's grave.
Uh-huh.
And a few years ago, we were at a grave site, and the headstone was out. And we were standing there, everyone was standing in front of me, and I was like facing them, and there was no one behind me, and someone pushed me. Like,
There you go.
playfully, and every time I think of it, it makes me laugh.
But again, you know, but this is, again, these are the way that some spirits do manifest. They're